Welcome into Defeating the Curse, FP and LP show. We're here to talk about football and only football, even though Caps and Wiz are around the corner. It was a rough week, and next week's going to be rougher, LP. I mean, it was a rough week. It was a rough week for Washington football fans. It was a rough week for the Raiders, for the NFL in general, definitely for John Gruden. And based on what the vibe is, it looks like it's going to come back to Washington football team and the Bruce emails and the Wilkerson report and everything just looks like it's a giant steam piling dog. It's just terrible.
Yeah, it was a good week for Urban Meyer, though. He was out of the news.
Oh yeah, he's super happy right now.
Let's talk about Gruden. What is your take on whether someone should get fired, asked to get fired, or resign for something that happened in the past, whether it was with a current employer or a previous employer?
Honestly, my view is he was dumb enough to put this stuff in email. He was dumb enough to essentially engage with Bruce Allen for as long as he did, right? That's unforgivable in and of itself. But like the 2021 cancel culture stuff, it's kind of insane that somebody can get fired for saying bad words, right? Saying bad things, mean things, derogatory things. I get it. It's not good. Nobody should say it. But there's so many other things or players or people in the NFL that have done legitimately worse that are still employed, that have done like actual illegal acts and are still employed. So the sensitivity around it is what's getting him fired or why he resigned. I don't know, some contract magic
Yeah, I
happened
mean,
for the Raiders
it's
there,
a
but
big difference because getting fired for cause would mean that he doesn't get the 6 years, 60 million left on his contract. I mean, that's a lot of money. Don't forget, he signed a 10-year, $100 million contract. So he's about 10
yeah,
million a
he's leaving
year.
60 on the table.
Yeah, I don't know
But
what
you have to
what the
break it
deal is
down
with the
into tiers,
Raiders.
right?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so if we take a step back, Friday, the report came out where what was it on Friday? Was it Bruce first? Oh no, it was
No, it
the
was the
DeMaurice
email
Smith.
against the yeah.
Yeah, DeMaurice Smith. Well, first of all, I mean, what I want to know, was this company email or was this private email? If it was personal private email, I'm against I'm against firing anybody, right? Because it's people's livelihood. I don't care if you're rich or not. Like, I don't think people should get fired for something that's not illegal.
Well,
That's
not
one.
only is he fired, right? Like Tampa Bay took him off the Ring of Honor. Like he's getting eradicated and completely
Erased.
wiped clean in
He's
the
getting
NFL.
canceled.
Yeah.
He's getting
And
canceled.
again, it affects his other livelihood, which was commentating and Monday Night Football and stuff. So even if he's fired as a coach, nobody's going to bring him in to be a commentator. You're not going to see ESPN and Fox and all these people bring him in to be some sort of color commentator. I mean, he's done. Like in the world of football, John Gruden is done,
Yeah, there's no
which is
return
insane
from that.
because the Gruden name is so powerful in football
No, it's not powerful anymore. It,
anymore.
but even before this, right? I mean, Jay, I think effed up the Gruden name for the family, but still. So, I mean, if it was in private, and just hear me out here. If it was in private and it was private email, and he was never the subject of an investigation, that's pretty messed up. That someone went through his private emails, leaked them, and then all of a sudden he's getting in trouble for that.
Well,
Now,
that's
I'm
the
not
problem,
excusing
right?
him. What he did was absolutely wrong. I mean, there's just no place in society for hatred. It doesn't matter, what your views
Agreed.
are. There's just like, why? Like, this is stupid. Like, it was hatred against, different cultures, different, whatever it is.
Beliefs,
Yeah.
orientations, race, yeah, all of it. I mean,
Now, the
the thing
thing that
is,
he said about
he hit
Roger
on
was pretty funny.
he hit on every single like derogatory like PR disaster topic you could hit on. Like he hit bingo on all of it.
He did, and
The funny
Yeah,
thing
I
is,
mean, so I see why. I mean, at this point when it was leaked and those things were said and it was confirmed by him, all those things, like, there's no going back. You have to fire him, resign,
yeah,
whatever it
for
is. Like, he
sure.
has to be
I
gone at
mean,
that point. But
private
the
email
fact
or
is,
not private
how
email.
did those things get leaked if he was never the subject of an investigation? If the NFL said, okay, we heard something, we're going to investigate, and under whatever clause, legal clause, that he can actually get investigated for it, then that makes sense. But he
Right.
was,
Well,
as
he
far as
was
I know,
never
he
the
was never.
subject. He was never the subject of an investigation. He was collateral damage, right? And a
So then
lot of this collateral
there's
damage is
probably 649 other thousand collateral damages that can be
well, yeah.
found,
So
right?
that's the issue, right? So the NFL has these 650,000 emails, which back in the day you do kind of like the old lawyer trick where you just like flood the media with all this paperwork and you're like try to find something in 650,000 emails. But now you control F, you create a script, you do whatever, you get all the information instantaneously. That doesn't happen anymore. So the question is, a lot of the garbage that's coming out, the bad stuff that's coming out, is directly tied to communications with Bruce Allen and the Washington football team and the essentially probe into our franchise. And it bleeds. And I mean, come on, like the NFL is a good old boys club. Like all the owners know each other, all the managers know each other, all the other. It's they all shared emails, right? There's cheerleader pictures. There's just like
Well,
quote
it's
unquote locker room talk that was probably being like trash talk being sent back and forth. And the problem is
it stems from Bruce Allen, though.
it stems from Bruce. It's all Bruce Allen.
Why isn't Bruce Allen canceled? Why aren't they removing, Bruce Allen's dad from the Hall of Fame? Or I don't know, why isn't the NFL coming out and saying, hey, Bruce Allen is expelled from the NFL, can never hold a job with a franchise again? Like, where's
I
the
mean,
backlash on him?
he's already fired. You can't. What are you gonna like
No,
pre-fire somebody?
yeah, didn't they did that to many players? Like Ray Rice was quit or whatever.
Yeah,
He
but
wasn't on
he
the
was
team and he was
found
suspended.
guilty in like through the law. He
Right,
wasn't
and he
like
served his time. His time was over, but he's expelled from the NFL. He can never come back. Why isn't that against? Why isn't Goodell coming out and saying Bruce Allen can never be a part of a franchise again?
because you have to. What did Gruden, Bruce, or any of these people do that was illegal? Nothing. Nothing illegal
No, I'm pretty
has
sure
stemmed.
sharing topless pictures of women without consent is illegal.
I
Yes,
no,
that's
it would
illegal.
no, it
That's
wouldn't, right? If they're not minors, maybe the way the pictures were obtained were illegal, taken,
exactly.
but sharing it wouldn't be illegal. It wasn't revenge porn, it wasn't child porn, it was just naked pictures, right?
So the way that he got the pictures would be illegal.
Bruce or John?
Bruce.
Neither.
Yeah.
They're
I
legal
don't know. I guess
loopholes.
that's
Legal loopholes.
yeah.
They didn't so far all of this drama, and I mean I'm not a lawyer, I could be 100% wrong, but from what I've seen, all this drama, nothing illegal has happened. So you can't take preventative measures or whatever measures against Bruce Allen or whoever else gets named, because that would essentially open up the NFL to retaliation from those people. Gruden could have fought it. He could have been like middle finger to the world. I'm not quitting, or I'm not resigning. You have to fire me so I can get my money, something like that. But he was so in the wrong that he just cut his losses and dipped out with his 40 million instead of 100 million.
I mean, he probably had to deal with the Raiders, but to my understanding, the NFL went to the Raiders on after Friday's leak and said, "You got to fire this guy," and the Raiders at the time
Yes.
said, "No, we're not doing that."
And then they
And
punted
then
a
so
little bit
that's when
more.
Gruden came out with his apology,
Yeah.
and then
The
the New York
NFL
Times
wasn't
got
happy.
the leaks, right?
Yep.
And so I still go back to how the hell did the New York Times get these emails? Who is leaking the emails to the New York Times? Is that
I
Beth
mean,
Wilkinson? She's I mean, there's no way that she saw the emails and didn't take any notes or didn't
Yeah,
download
I
a
mean,
copy of them.
you have high level execs at Facebook destroying Facebook with congressional hearings. What's to make you think the NFL doesn't have the exact kind of issue where there's either somebody high level in actual NFL headquarters or a Wilkerson or somebody that's like, you know what, whistleblower laws, I'm protected. F it. Let's just blow this thing wide open. And the problem with blow this thing wide open is now
You have to reveal the emails. You have to
a
go back
hundred
to
percent,
Washington and say,
100%,
eh,
and Washington does not come out of that unharmed. If all those emails come out, Washington does not survive this unharmed. I don't know what Dan or Tanya are going to have to do. Jason Wright would have an uphill battle. Like,
yeah,
hopefully
it's a
you can
disaster for
separate the Ron
Washington.
Rivera. Like, but the thing is, like, I'm so intrigued. Like, even if it blows up the team, this team deserves to be blown up right now after 5 weeks. And without us even getting into the trash that was the Saints game and the murder that's going to be the Chiefs game, I'm ready for this team to be blown up. I already hate Chase Young. Bring on the emails. Let me get my jollies off reading it and talking about how crazy these idiot old men were for sharing all what they shared, saying what they said, and blow everything up. I can see vacancies across the NFL happening.
I just think that if everything is revealed, then every team is going to be at fault. And what the hell do you do then? You cancel the whole NFL? Like,
No, you
it's not just Bruce and Gruden. Bruce has ties across the league, right? Like he was well liked within the upper circles of the NFL. Maybe it's because he had pictures,
yeah,
but
they liked him because he was their source for nudie pics. I don't know.
it's
I don't
not
know.
just Gruden and Bruce. It's more.
But
It's
you would have to hope that the majority of executives, leadership, coaches, managers, you'd have to assume the majority of them, or hope the majority of them, didn't partake in that bad
but there was so
behavior.
much that they could have partaken in. It's probably a lock that they partake in at least one of each of those issues that was brought up, right? Like,
I mean,
I'm sure no owner likes Goodell, no coach likes Goodell. Like, it's there's target at him, and then the Titans player, or the was it the Rams player,
Rams,
the Jeff
yeah.
Fisher. Yeah, like, I mean, maybe the NFL pushed him a little bit on the teams, but I'm sure the other owners and coaches and GMs maybe had an idea on that, and it doesn't have to necessarily be derogatory. Like, it doesn't have to be, I don't want him because of his sexual views, but it could be, I don't want him because he's not a good
He
football player.
sucks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
sucks wouldn't be
so
the word.
it could be that. I mean, it could be a lot of things, right? It could be like they don't like DeMaurice Smith either. Like, he's for the players, he's not for the team. So
Right.
it's like it's their innate, like, they're at odds with each other all the time. So
I know, but
what I'm saying is
but
that
you're also like,
it's
it's
the whole
your
NFL.
fault. It's your fault if you're emailing this stuff. And like, Gruden's email was private, but it went to Bruce's NFL email. So like,
Is
Bruce
that
just,
confirmed?
yeah, it was to Bruce's Washington football team or Redskins email. Bruce just said middle finger to the world. He was like, whatever. He
Yeah.
he did whatever he needed to do besides, manage the team.
What is Bruce doing tonight? Is he
Probably
sweating?
drinking a couple beers
I
and
bet you
laughing
he
his
left
ass
the
off.
country already.
No, no way.
Yeah, he's canceled. Well, I
I
mean, yeah,
mean,
it's gonna be interesting to see, because I don't think Washington can get out of this unharmed. And
if all
unfortunately,
those
the thing
emails
is,
come out, there's no
it's
way
not this
Snyder is
team.
untouched.
So that's the thing. Touch Snyder, do whatever you need to do to Snyder, but you shouldn't punish this team who had nothing to do with any of that, right? Like, they overhauled the entire team, like, from the people taking pictures to the front desk to everything. Like, I mean, it's a completely new organization, like, top to
Yeah,
bottom.
instead of nudie pics, we have DEA raids. I mean, we're in the clear now, right?
Yeah,
Look,
I
I
mean, there
mean,
there
it,
is
it
no
comes
lack of
down
drama
to
with
there's
this team. It's insane. Like, when do we, like, I'd rather just suck and be 0-16 and not have this drama than this bullshit that we're in now with, mediocre, not bad enough to get a high draft pick, not good enough to ever do anything good. And then,
Well, you
just
also you have
like,
to look at it like the name change 100%. The one thing that changed Snyder's stance about I will never change this name, you could put that in caps and all bold, whatever he said, to changing the name was probably the investigation and the NFL being like, look, bro, we got so much dirt on your team and subsequently every other team that we need this to be buried. And we can't bury this without some sort of peace offering to the media. So change this name or lose the team and risk the NFL imploding. That's 100% what Goodell and the NFL told Dan. And that's why he's like, okay, name change, done. That's an easy bargaining chip to maintain your billion-dollar franchise and move forward. There's nothing else in the
yeah.
world that would have convinced Dan to change the name, except we have.
So you're
a
saying that
shit ton
you take that theory over FedEx and all these sponsors pulling their money out?
I see it all tied in together, right? All of it tied in. And the sponsors and the co-owners were probably also on the emails and they just wanted to pull out and save face before it was too late. Like it's just think about it, man. These are like 50 to 70-year-old men emailing about God knows what. Like they don't know cybersecurity. They don't know how email works. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know that this stuff can get logged on servers and pulled up even after they deleted it. They don't know that. There's NFL teams, I guarantee you, after Gruden resigned, there's probably like 31 teams that are like, oh shit. And they had
Delete
their
everything.
IT department try to wipe everything, but it's too late. It's too late.
Yeah, it's going to be a disaster. Let's talk about on the field disaster now. The Saints just, I mean, it was a, yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it was
I can explain it
almost
to you
a
perfectly.
good game, but then it was just like the daggers, like the Hail Mary, the long touchdown pass at the first drive of the game or whatever it was. It's like you can't.
Jameis
It's like you're
Winston
walking
had
down the street and you just with a fully loaded pistol and you're just shooting yourself left and right. You just can't get out of your own way.
Jameis Winston had maybe the worst 4 touchdown rating performance of any quarterback ever. If you look at like his completion chart, it was like incomplete, 73-yard touchdown, incomplete, 43-yard touchdown, incomplete. Like it made no sense. Like his stat line made 0 sense, but he gets out of the game with 4 touchdowns or whatever. And Ron coming today to the Junks and talking to the media yesterday and like sticking with it's not us. We're not changing anything. We're not changing personnel. We're not changing coaches. We're not changing players. We're not doing anything. The defense is right there. We missed 2 plays, blah, blah, blah. Look, and he's like, if only we didn't go 7-9 last year and now it's hard. All that garbage. Take record out of it, right? Let's say last year you don't win the East. The defense, even against crappy quarterbacks, looked better, looked more prepared, looked more cohesive. Now, 5 weeks in, the defense does not look better from rushing to secondary to your additions. We've essentially had all the additions to defense have brought us down, not up, right? Bobby McCain.
Yeah, agreed.
Juice,
but
all of them. They're all just bringing us down.
The reason for that is we haven't played a quarterback as crappy as we did at the end of the season last year.
Daniel Jones is a crappy quarterback.
Daniel Jones
Jameis
crushed
Winston
us
is a
last
crappy
year.
quarterback.
Daniel Jones crushed us last year.
That's not a good thing.
We played CJ Beathard last year. We played the guy from Dallas who Ben whatever his name is who's isn't even on NFL. He's not even on an NFL roster right now. Like we played the worst of the worst. Like Jameis is leaps and bounds ahead of those guys. And that's why we're getting crushed. Like we
Right,
had a
but
false
okay,
perception that our defense is good. Our defense was not good last year. Our defense played good against really shitty teams.
listen, that's all fair. Okay, we had the false perception that our defense was good, and coming into the year, we're like top 5 defense. You got people like Steve and other people that are like, I don't know about top 5. That was kind of false advertisement. All fair, but to be 31st, to be so bad, you're bottom 5. That's unacceptable for how much draft capital we have put into this team with 2 defensive minded head coach, defensive coordinator, people leading the charge. Bottom 5 is unacceptable.
What's crazy is that PFF stat that you sent me earlier this week that said we're top 5 in pass rush.
Number 2 in pass rush, number 31 in pass coverage.
Polar opposites. Overall, we're 31 still.
Yeah, I mean,
because our pass is so bad.
We've given up like 4 touchdown passes a game. Like it's like unheard of what we're doing. And look, you can get into it, right? Like if you want to dig into it again, we've dug into it 1,000 times. Chase Young, he has his own issues coming into his second year, but
and he's hitting a sophomore slump.
Yeah, that's you gotta expect that. And they're preparing for him. But overall, if you look at the pass rush, you're like 4 first-round draft picks. They're not getting enough pressure. Well, they are getting the pressure, but they're getting beat because your linebacking core and your cornerbacks can't stop anybody. So on a first,
if you really have
a receiver with 10 yards cushion, there's no way the pressure is going to get to him.
If you really have a top 1-2 defensive line, you shouldn't be 31st in pass, because that defensive line should be able to get home several times.
But that's the thing. The defensive line is getting the pressure. Jonathan Allen is having like a better year than Aaron Donald so far. Deron Payne is doing great things. The line
I think
what they need.
I think it's one of those things where the stats don't meet what the eye sees, and the eye sees the defensive line not doing enough. Like I appreciate the PFF closely.
Staff. If you watch closely, you see the linemen getting past.
How many sacks?
Sacks is a stupid stat, right? You need
it's not
quarterback.
A stupid stat.
No, QB pressure and hits is different.
Okay, how many hits? How many hurries?
I'm not PFF database in my head. You bring it up.
It's not good enough. That's what I'm saying.
It's not good enough, but it's not because of the line. It's because of the other 8 guys on the field.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you're like 8 out of 11.
You wasted another first-round draft pick on this defense in Jamin Davis,
who played 13 snaps.
Yeah, you lose Bostic and you still don't bring him in. So then the question goes, okay, the players
are you teaching him? Are you coaching him?
The players need a lot of work. Throw him in, let him get the practice, the reps, the experience, and let's rebuild for next year. But then you look at things, you bring in Curtis Samuel, can't stay on the field. You bring in Fitzpatrick, instantly injured. You bring in Humphreys. I don't know. You do off-season moves that tell you win now, right? You spend money on William Jackson. You spend money on Bobby McCain. You do off-season moves where you're like, okay, few pieces away, but we're still going to try to win now. And then you struggle. So then you're like, okay, we're not going to win now. Let's train and teach the new guys. That's not happening. If that's happening, you would see Jamin Davis on the field all the time.
It's still
even
too
if he's
early.
getting
It's
burned,
still too early
you
to
see him get on the field, get burned. How are you supposed to learn by watching game tape if you're not on the field? What is he supposed to do?
If you're a first round pick, your learning curve shouldn't be that big. If you're a first round pick, your learning curve shouldn't be that big.
But it is big because we on purpose took a raw linebacker,
but Alex
with huge
Smith
upside.
Just said we had a vanilla defense. So you cannot play in a vanilla defense even though you're a first round pick. Like that's garbage. Like then he shouldn't have been a first round pick. I don't know. Nobody is doing good. I don't care what the stats say. The defensive line is not number 2.
No, the defensive line is not. Look, okay. I have my issues with Chase. Okay,
I'll take 15, not 2.
Yeah. Okay.
15 and 31 equals as bad as the shit that we saw on Sunday.
The line, you can't look at this defense and blame the line. You can't. I can look at Chase Young and yell at him for bull rushing past the play and not realizing that when a right tackle just taps you on the back to walk right by him, that should be a sign that, hey, the play is happening right behind me. Let me seal the edge. That's stupidity on Chase Young. The line as a whole is doing great. What the problem is now is you have JDR, right? And you and I joke about this. JDR comes in here with an antiquated, bullshit, outdated mentality on defense, right? And he's misaligning our players. When you have William Jackson, that's like, I like Cincy more so I can play man. Now he's stuck in zone. And you're rotating your secondary all the time so that you have Fuller come in and then Fuller go out and then you William Jackson do this and then you Bobby McCain doing this and Landon Collins doing this. And you're constantly rotating these 5 pieces in the backfield. You're overly creating confusion, right? You're not utilizing the players to their strengths. And then you have Ron come out and you're like, oh, well, there's just a lack of communication and people aren't doing what they're supposed to do. Well, then effing adjust it, Ron. It's 5 games in. If they haven't figured it out through OTAs, training camp, preseason, and 5 weeks of NFL play, they're not going to figure it out. So then do your adjustment, do your coaching and adjust. Maybe we need to go to more man coverage. Maybe we need to go to more exotic blitzes. Maybe we need to go to not playing nickel so much and go to a more base defense. Change something. You can't just put out a product on the field, have the product suck, come into the media, be like, hey, the product doesn't suck. We're just not doing it the way it needs to be done. That's not going to work week after week after week. Something needs to change. If you're not going to change player and personnel, what are you going to change? Something needs to be addressed here. The coaches have to coach. It's insane to
improvement. You have to show improvement week after week, right?
It's insane to me though,
last year we had the same issue. Like the first 5, 6, 7 games, our defense sucked, and we started playing some really bad quarterbacks. We thought the defense was a lot better.
Yeah, and it got better when Landon Collins got hurt, and then when you bring in Cam Curl and DeShazer Everett and those guys, they did better. I don't know. They're younger and faster.
Something has to change. You can't just keep doing the same stupid thing over and over again.
Exactly. Like if you're not going to change the players, fine. If you're not going to change the coordinators, fine. Can you at least tell the coordinators to change the plays that they're calling, the formations that they're putting out there, or maybe change how you study game tape, right? You look at the Chiefs coming up. Chiefs got destroyed by the Bills by basically the same margins that we got destroyed by the Bills. Patrick Mahomes, essentially the same exact stat line as Taylor Heineke. Okay. Look at what the Bills did against us and against the Chiefs. 2 deep safeties, hit Tyreek Hill on the line, get in Travis Kelce's face, mess up their entire splashy big play offense, and force Patrick Mahomes to do a dink and dunk, which he doesn't like to do because he gets impatient and he wants to be the hero on the field. Will we do that? Will we address the Chiefs offense that way? 100% no. 100% Patrick Mahomes is going to come out. Tyreek Hill, for whatever reason, is going to get 10 yards of cushion from BSJ or whoever's guarding him or blocking him, covering him, whatever the word is. And he's going to have a 93-yard touchdown within the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, who do you blame within the first drive?
Who do you blame? Happen. Are you going to blame the players? Ron won't blame the players. You're going to blame the coaches? Ron won't blame the coaches. So then what do? You just have him yelling at the junks every Tuesday morning and then nothing changing?
Yeah, great. That's exactly what's going to happen. Good job, Ron. I mean, I don't blame him for not throwing anybody under the bus. Like, he's got to right the ship and he's got to figure out what the issues are and solve it behind closed doors. He doesn't need to be held accountable by the media. He can tell them to F off and I'm fine with that. But I need to see improvement week after week. I don't care about playoffs. I don't care about our record. I don't care about what the Cowboys are doing because they're gonna smoke us out of the East. I need to see improvement week after week, and we're not seeing that.
Right, and then you have him coming out, and you're saying like, it's hard. Yeah, no shit, it's hard, Ron. It's the NFL, right? You're in a bigger media market. You're gonna have to have better answers than that for the DC media. This ain't Carolina Bojack media where DTC was like number 2 in authority down there. Like it's not gonna fly up here. It's not gonna fly up here to come out with no
But
real change or
I
answer.
admire how
And the
he's
thing
like,
is,
F you media. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you write, which is fine, that's been his MO his whole entire career.
which is all fair, but then when we come
You
at him,
gotta,
when JP Finley or when the junks or when people that are actually knowledgeable are like, hey, this and this and this happened, why did it happen, how can you adjust? And Ron just like, no, you're wrong, that's not what happened. They're not idiots, Ron. Like they're looking at the same tape you are. They're looking at the all 22 tape just like you are every Monday morning. You can't just tell them they're wrong or that they don't get it. It won't fly. And then, did
it
you
won't fly
hear?
with who? Who are you saying? It's not going to fly with the fans?
Yes, with the fans and the media, it won't fly. And honestly, it
He's not
shouldn't
in
fly
it for
with
the
the
fans.
players.
Yeah,
Okay, fine. So then you look at
you
Landon
think the
Collins.
players give a shit?
Listen,
Do the players look like they care?
Landon Collins comes out after the Saints game and he goes, "Oh, we didn't know that they were preparing to throw a Hail Mary. We thought they were going to kick a field goal." He said that, right?
Yeah, he said we were
Okay.
preparing for the ding.
The field goal unit wasn't on the field during the Hail Mary play. Any defensive player.
What do you mean they weren't on the field?
It was the Saints offense. It wasn't the field goal unit. So why are you thinking they're going for a field goal?
No. He's saying he was thinking that they were going to try to get 7 yards and a quick pass out of bounds to then kick the field goal after that.
Okay.
Which is a reasonable thing to think.
And
but
when
it
you
doesn't,
see
that doesn't
when you
excuse
see
you
Jameis
from
dropping back and
exactly
winding up and getting
and
ready
throwing
to throw
it
a
60
bomb,
yards in the air, like
what
run to the
why
ball,
it's your job.
hit the
You're
guy,
the
pass
safety.
interference, do something, right? Like get a pass
All our
interference.
DBs didn't jump. Every single one of them
No,
didn't
St.
jump.
Juice jumped. He jumped about a yard behind the guy.
St. Juice jumped the way somebody playing Mario for the first time jumps, like just smashing buttons, and he doesn't know what he's doing, and he jumped like out of the play.
Fuller was there. He didn't do anything. There was about 5 or 6. There was at least 4 to 5 football players
for a player
or Washington team.
For a player to come out and be like, "Oh, we thought they were going for a field goal." Look, dipshit, that's not a good answer either. Your entire team, right, from coach to coordinator to players, are coming at the media with just the complete wrong mindset, attitude, and shit we need to hear. Nothing's being addressed. Nothing's getting changed. Nobody's giving us answers we need to hear.
No,
and then you have Heineke on the other side of the ball.
Other than jamming.
Right. And then you have Heineke on the other side of the ball, who's like, "Oh, I take the blame for those 2 interceptions. Like, that's all on me." Like, bro, this is your 5th game ever. Nobody's mad at you. You're still putting up points. Yes, it sucks. Yes, you need more arm strength. Yes, I'm ready for Ryan Fitzpatrick to come back, because if he can do kind of what you're doing, but with arm strength, that's good.
Yeah,
but nobody's mad at the offense. I don't think anybody's mad at the offense. I haven't heard anybody mad at the offense.
No, because we're still putting up points and we're driving down the field, and we look. Actually, we didn't look like a good offense in New Orleans because we lost Curtis Samuel on the first play, and he was a major decoy 2 weeks ago.
Right, but you put up 22 points without Logan Thomas, without Curtis Samuel, with AG coming off shin fractured splints, whatever he had. You didn't have Sheriff. You had rotating linemen. Cosme went out late, and you still put up 22 points. So all those things, the offense still did their job.
Right, and the whole philosophy for the team this year was put up 20-something points, and our defense will get you the win, because our defense is so good that we'd hold people under 20 points, which is complete opposite of what's happening. It starts with the defense. The defense
bottom 5 in the league is not acceptable. And it has nothing to do with how they did last year versus this year. What it has to do is you have a total of
the team is
5
built around the defense.
Draft picks. Yeah, you have 5 first-round draft picks invested in this defense.
Landon Collins is highly paid. Bobby McCain is highly paid. William Jackson is highly paid.
Agents
Kendall
quote
Fuller
unquote
is
Pro
highly
Bowl
paid.
free agents.
Who's not highly paid on this defense or highly drafted?
BSJ. That's it.
He's the third corner. He's on most teams. He's not even listed on the starting.
Cam Curl. That's
He's
it.
not. He's
And
not
if
even
you go
listed as a
down the
starter.
roster, and you look at our starters, outside of that front four, almost everybody else on that defense doesn't hit starter status for
That's
every
not
other
true.
team.
No, I fully disagree with that. Every player on that defense goes to another team who they can coach them and put them in the right position and have a better scheme for what they're good at and what they're not good at, and not keep them in these shitty situations. Like William Jackson was a stud last year in Cincinnati. It's not that he got worse. It's
Right,
that
but
Cincinnati played to his strengths, and we don't do that.
Cincinnati's doing great this year
Kendall Fuller was
with the
great
loss
under
of William
Joe
Jackson.
Barry. Kendall Fuller was doing great under Joe Barry.
Right, but
Like-
again, Cincinnati's defense is doing better.
John Bostic
With
was
the
good
loss.
at his previous stop. Like,
No, he
These-
wasn't. That's why
yes,
he left.
he was.
No,
No, he left. He
His
left
previous
because it's
stop was
the NFL.
13 years ago.
No, he hasn't been on the Washington for 13 years.
I'm
He's
saying
been here for
he
like 2
hasn't been,
years.
he hasn't been good for 13 years. He hasn't been fast for 13 years.
He's fast now, but that doesn't mean he's a good player in this scheme.
Bostic's
He's
not
fast. Yes, he is.
No.
That's the
No.
whole reason why they kept him, because they said his speed.
KOJ drafted after Jamin Davis. He's fast. He's doing better. He's showing to be first round ready, defensive ready on the
How many
field.
plays?
Make
How
a
many-
difference.
What's his snap counts? It's got to be more than 13.
Jamin has 44 through 5 games. 44. That's one game worth of snaps. Game and a half worth of snaps. 44 in 5 games.
I don't think that's right.
It's right.
I don't know. I'll take your word for it. But either way, he's not on the field. Yeah.
Why?
I mean, it's
okay. So again, are we rebuilding or are we teaching? Are we rebuilding or are we trying to win? What's Ron's method right now? He is neither trying to win and he is neither going for the rebuild.
He's hoping to fall into a situation last year where he was rebuilding and then saw an opportunity to
That's
win.
not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I mean, unless Dak gets hurt again, it's not going to happen.
Still not going to happen. Still not. Jalen Hurts is doing better.
No. I mean, you
Eagles
also have
beat
to.
the Panthers. Will Washington football team beat the Panthers? No.
Panthers are sliding pretty bad
New
right
York
now.
Giants beat the Saints. Did we beat the Saints? No.
That doesn't. I get the point. It doesn't equate. It's not an.
How does it not
sign.
equate? The Giants beat the Saints.
Okay, we
with
beat the Giants.
What? Chad Henne and without Saquon Barkley. No, the Giants beat the Giants. We didn't beat the Giants. Okay.
That's true.
We are not a good team.
I'm not
Period.
disagreeing with. I'm 100% agreeing with you.
What's
your point?
What changes?
Why are you fighting me?
What do we change before this Chiefs game? Why am I a fan even going to attempt to watch the Chiefs game without being shit-faced? Only way I could watch it is if I'm very, very, very drunk.
So that's your plan.
But why would I watch it? Aside from the fact that I like to get really, really, really drunk.
For comedy. For comedy. I mean, it's literally. Remember the last time the Chiefs came into town?
We haven't beat the Chiefs since Theismann was our quarterback.
Do you remember the last time the Chiefs came into town? The
No,
Ice Bowl
I probably
game.
blocked it out of my memory.
The Ice Bowl game. I think that was the first game in like 20 years where FP and LP didn't watch together. It was the Ice Bowl game, and it was a disaster. And
There's no surprise there.
yeah, it's gonna happen again. There's zero chance. And I'm gonna go all in on a Chiefs parlay because they're just gonna absolutely rip us apart.
100%. Travis Kelce, 100 yards. Tyreek Hill, 100 yards. Somehow Josh Gordon is going to remember that he's Flash Gordon. He'll get 100 yards. CEH isn't even in. He'll run for 100 yards even though he's on IR. It doesn't matter. The Chiefs are going to destroy us. Andy Reid is going to outcoach Ron Rivera. And then the giant Kool-Aid man is going to give his old coaching tree buddy a hug and be like, "Yep, you suck."
Yep. I think that's about right. I mean, yeah, I don't really see us winning another game rest of the year. I think we still have the strongest strength of schedule for the rest of the year. Like the schedule's not favorable. The team sucks. The offense sucks. The defense sucks. Dustin Hopkins sucks. Like we're not gonna win another game.
Just
throw in the towel.
just give me the 650,000 emails. Blow up everything. Blow up the NFL.
That doesn't make the on-field product any better. Even getting rid of Dan Snyder does not make the on-field product any better.
You don't know that, dude. You
I
don't.
do. He's not making draft picks. He's not like what has he done since Ron was hired? Nothing.
I find it
He stepped out of the way. It's not
I find
him.
it hilarious that Dan Snyder has somehow escaped all the bullshit that he is due. I find it hilarious. And I kind of like, part of me roots for douchebag Dan Snyder to keep escaping all the garbage.
He's going to. Why? Because
I find it
he's
hilarious.
got the most money.
Now, here's the thing, though. Can I potentially see Snyder being out, team up for sale, new owner comes in? Let's say you retain Jason Wright. Fine. New owner comes in, stadium deal gets done faster, and then kind of the rest of that culture change kind of gets rolling with Jason Wright. The new name comes in and kind of everything starts rolling that way. Can I see that happening? Yes. Unfortunately,
it's not likely.
Unfortunately, I see it happening without Ron Rivera. And I think Ron Rivera has underestimated just how potent and poisonous the DC media is. And just how
Ron doesn't give a shit about the media.
Okay,
like
Ron,
he doesn't go home thinking, "Oh, the media doesn't like me. Oh, the media."
So this is what I've heard so far.
Like
Ron doesn't
his
give a
job.
shit. Ron doesn't give a shit about the media. Okay, he doesn't give a shit that the product on the field is bad. He doesn't give a shit enough to change anything. He doesn't give a shit enough to address any changes. What is Ron Rivera fixing? What culture is he correcting? The boy you brought in has DEA raids. Okay, your nepotism Carolina team coaches, whatever, you pulled them up to DC. What culture have you changed if you're not going to be better with the media, if you're not going to be better with the product on the field, if you're not going to give accountability to the players? Ron's whole thing, and Carolina fans have been saying this for forever, is he overvalues veterans that shouldn't be on the field. That's exactly what we're seeing right now.
Name one veteran who's on the field who's overvalued.
Landon Collins, Bobby McCain, William Jackson. At the time, Bostic.
I mean,
he's doing.
McCain's like 24. William Jackson's like 23.
More established than Moreland, who you let go, or Cam
Jimmy
Curl.
Moreland came from JMU. Like he's not a.
It doesn't matter. Jimmy Moreland in this defense was effective. I don't care what he's doing on Houston. I don't care where he came from. On this defense, when he was on the field, he fit the defense. He made plays.
Because he was coachable and he played and they played to his strengths.
Okay, so then are you telling me right now we have players that aren't coachable that can't play to their strengths? Whose fault is that? Ron Rivera.
Yes. Agreed.
So either like I don't want
something's got to change. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again.
I don't want to fire Ron Rivera. I don't want JDR to leave. I want the continuity, but we've also witnessed continuity in the past, and it's bit us in the ass, and it's biting us in the ass right now. And I, as a fan, would be fine with all of the bullshit if Ron addressed the media better than he's.
I think you're putting
media.
Way too much stock in what the media thinks and what you're hearing on the radio and what you're reading in articles.
No. Here's the difference. I don't care. I don't care about the media's reaction to Ron. I care what he is telling us.
Why does he have to tell us the truth?
Media,
why does he have to tell the media the truth?
I'm not saying tell us the truth. Just give me more. Just don't come at me like I'm an idiot.
Why?
Don't come at me like I'm not seeing the same thing on the field that you're seeing.
What he's saying is it's none of your business.
It is my
I'm
business. It's literally
no,
my
it's not because
business
you're not. When was the last
as a
time you gave
fan
this
that
franchise
pays
the
to
money?
see this product.
You paid. When was the last time you bought something that was Washington?
Don't look at FP when he's saying this. Look at the Washington fan base.
Vote with your season tickets and return them.
Who
And
are
don't
you
go.
right now? Shut up. You're ridiculous right now. What? Whose D are you sucking right now? Like, you're not mad at anybody? You don't
No.
want anything to change? You're not mad at what Ron is saying?
No, I'm saying he's
You
at fault. But
you
he's
buy
not,
the bullshit he's
he
telling
does not.
you?
No, I'm saying he's not accountable to me. I don't. He doesn't have to answer to me. He doesn't have to answer to the media. He can
Who
do
does he
whatever
have
that
to answer to? He doesn't have
he
to
has to
answer
answer
to
to his
anybody.
boss. He has to
Who's
answer
his
to his
boss?
boss.
Dan Snyder.
Tanya
Snyder.
Snyder. At the end of the
Okay.
year, he has to answer to his boss. And
Okay.
did this
And
team
what
get
is
any
he going
better?
to tell them? We didn't
I
do
don't know.
better. We didn't do better.
How do you
The
know we
players
didn't
we
do better? The
drafted
season's
suck.
not over.
Look at the schedule and look at the product on the field. It's shittier than last year. You're going to do better? Great. Maybe you are you going to sweep the NFC East in the last 5 games of the year?
You can't say the offense is not better.
I can.
How? The offense, even with Alex Smith last year, you were saying that the offense back then with Alex Smith is better than it is today? No, the defense got shittier, it was shitty last year too. Special teams was shitty last year too. So he's got a push, and he got better on offense.
No. You didn't get better on offense.
You did.
No. You got more gunslinger on offense. And Heineke is pulling stuff out of his ass to make plays. But
at least
from
the
a
offense
system wise,
gives you a chance.
You're not. Gives you a chance to stay in it, not to win. I don't want a chance to stay in a game. I want to win.
No, there was a chance to win in New Orleans. Absolutely, there was a chance to win.
No, there wasn't.
Well, there was.
We lost by 11 points.
Yeah, but before the last touchdown, before the Saints' last touchdown, there was a chance to win.
That's such a stupid statement. The Colts had a chance to win before the Ravens threw up 25 unanswered points. Great. They didn't, though. Great. The Washington football team had a chance to win.
What are you
before
advocating
the Saints
for?
scored?
Shit. You're advocating for Ron to get fired? What are you advocating for?
I'm advocating for literally anything.
Okay, what is it? You're in charge. What are you changing? If FP's in charge, what are you changing?
I want anything to change, and for Ron to then come up to the media
and be
like, this is what's changing.
You are now Ron Rivera. What are you changing?
Okay.
What are you changing?
I want a clear message on we're in it to win or this is a rebuild. I want you.
And who are you going to tell that to? You're FP the coach. You're going to tell FP the player whether you're in it to win or you're. No, that's stupid.
How is that stupid?
He doesn't have to answer to fans and the media and all.
He has to answer to his players and his coaches.
Okay, how do you know he's not doing that already?
Because why is Jamin Davis not in?
I'm sure Jamin Davis knows.
Does he?
Yes.
Why are you sure about that?
Because if Jamin Davis has got any mind of himself, he's gonna say, "Hey, coach, why am I not playing?" Like it's not.
No, because he's a first-year rookie. He's not gonna say that.
He is not gonna ask a question. Hey, what can I do to do better, or what can I do to get on the field?
Well, he's not getting on the field. Are his questions being answered?
So you think he's asking questions and there's like, oh, fuck you. We're not answering your question.
Yes. I 100% think that's what's happening. Okay. But that's what I'm saying. You're telling
your
me
culture sucks.
Ron doesn't, you're telling me Ron doesn't
to fix a culture and you got a worse culture.
You're seeing what I'm saying. You're telling me that Ron doesn't have to answer to anybody and the bad product remains on the field. And you're going to tell me that all the players who are talented NFL athletic human beings who know how to play football, you're not telling me that William Jackson hasn't been like, hey, I do better in man. I feel like JDR is like, great, shut up and do what I call.
That's exactly what JDR is saying.
Okay, change that, right? That's what I need to see change. Landon Collins is like, hey, I tricked you all. Told you this offseason I'm going to be faster, but I'm not. So pull me out, coach. You think he's gonna tell coach to pull him out? No.
I don't
Anyways,
know.
this is the
You're-
angriest I've ever
you're-
been on a podcast.
Yeah. I guess I'm just not as angry because my expectations were low.
My expectations were also low. But
So then why are you mad that they suck? If you thought they were gonna suck.
no. I'm mad. This is like a Jim Zorn level of nonsensical bullshit that we're dealing with. Nothing's changing, yet there's no accountability, yet there's nothing being told to the media, yet we're all seeing the same shitty product on the field. It's not acceptable by any means. Give me just one facet needs to change. One thing.
So
make a change.
if
Don't
Ron,
tell the media. Talk to
if
the
Ron
media.
came
Don't
out
make a change.
and released Landon Collins, would you be happy with that?
Yes.
You would be back on board.
Yes. If Ron came out without talking to the media and Landon Collins didn't get the start, I would be happy. If Ron came out and didn't talk to the media and Jamin Davis played the entire game, I'd be happy. If Ron Rivera,
and if I could put a parlay on it, or if I could put an actual sports bet on it, there's going to be at least one defensive player this week that doesn't get the start and that doesn't play.
I would much rather put the bet that nothing changes and we get blown out. And then Ron comes out and says, you guys are stupid. We're doing everything right, except we just missed on a couple plays. By the way, those couple plays were the 6 touchdowns the Chiefs scored.
Perfect.
Great. Thanks, Ron.
Let's put some money on it. $20.
$20 done.
Okay, perfect. Easy. We'll report back next week.
Stupid. This team is so stupid.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you.
I don't know what Kool-Aid you drank
that Ron does not have to report
anything.
to FP what he's doing and what his plan is, or the media.
I'm not saying to tell me what you're planning. I'm just saying talk to the media like they aren't stupid. Did you hear what he said today?
Do you know who Bill Belichick is? How do you think Bill Belichick's interviews on 108.9?
Bill Belichick doesn't have to address the media.
He
did not have to address the media when his team is going out there winning Super Bowls. Okay,
he has to address the media right now when his quarterback is Mac Jones and they're not as good, or last year. So what do you think he's telling 108.9 the fan Boston?
Bill Belichick has a dynasty under his belt that he has earned the right to be Bill Belichick. Ron Rivera
coach has earned the right because they're one of 32 coaches in the league.
No. Ron Rivera has a career 500 or worse record minus 1 season when his quarterback played at an MVP level. That's what Ron Rivera has. That does not earn you the right to put a middle finger up to the media. Bill Belichick has earned that right.
Yeah, I disagree.
Ron Rivera has not earned that right.
I think if you're a head coach, you've earned the right to give a middle finger to the media.
Yeah, as long as the product on the field is doing what they're supposed to do.
No,
but if you keep going down a downward trend,
you don't need to. I mean, if your team sucks and you still give the middle finger to the media, that's on you. At the end of the year, your ass is going to be on the line, and that's fine with me. At the end of the year,
I don't want Ron's ass on the line. I just want him to do baby steps to fix the issues that are very easily fixable.
Okay. $20.
I don't like you after this podcast. I'm done with you.
That's great. $20. We'll see who wins.
Okay.
Done.
This has been DTC. LP is an idiot. You can catch us on all streaming
platforms. Not. I just don't think Ron has to report to FP what he's doing. That's it.
Like I said, LP is an idiot. This is defeating the curse. Catch us on all our platforms. Listen to us on the Contender.
Maybe one of the 650,000 emails will be Ron telling somebody what his plan is. Maybe it's Ron telling Tanya, hey, welcome to being an owner. I've set a stage with Dan that this is going to take 10 years to rebuild this shithole.
Okay. You're an idiot. You're not allowed to talk anymore. I'm taking your mic. This is DTC. We are
$20.
$20. No, stop it. We're out.
$20.